It is 11 p.m. on a Tuesday. You are exhausted from a long day, and your phone screen is glowing. With one tap, an item is added to your cart. With another, it is paid for. For a brief moment, you feel a small rush of relief, a quick hit of dopamine, but when you wake up the next morning, that feeling is gone, replaced by a familiar, quiet regret. We often buy things to feel better, yet those very purchases end up creating the financial stress we are desperately trying to escape. Modern money culture is designed to make spending invisible. With tap-to-pay and one-click checkouts, the world has spent billions to remove every single barrier between your sudden emotions and your bank account. But true financial peace requires the exact opposite. In this video, we are exploring 8 Japanese money habits that cure the urge to spend, not through extreme frugality or miserable willpower, but by introducing intentional friction and an entirely new definition of enough. If you find yourself spending money you promised yourself you would save, you are not failing. You are functioning exactly as the modern economy was designed for you to function. We live in a world that thrives on speed and convenience. It is engineered to catch you when you are tired or seeking a momentary escape. When we click buy, we are rarely purchasing just a physical object. We are purchasing the feeling we hope that object will give us: relief, excitement, or comfort. The problem is that the feeling evaporates almost as quickly as the cardboard box arrives. But the financial cost, the depleted account balance, and the subtle layer of background stress, those remain. The cycle repeats because the root emotion was never actually addressed, only temporarily medicated with a transaction. This is where quiet wealth diverges from mainstream financial advice. Quiet wealth does not rely on iron willpower or making yourself feel guilty. Instead, it relies on building systems. By looking through the lens of traditional Japanese habits, we can learn how to introduce intentional friction back into our lives, freeing us from the exhausting treadmill of reactive spending. Behavioral finance teaches us a very simple principle: friction changes behavior. When a process is completely frictionless, we act on instinct. When we add even a few seconds of delay, the logical part of our brain has time to catch up with the emotional part. In modern consumerism, financial friction has been ruthlessly eliminated. But in traditional Japanese culture, intentional pauses are woven deeply into daily life. Think of the deliberate steps in a tea ceremony, or the simple act of taking off your shoes before entering a home. These are built in moments of transition. They force you to slow down, shift your mindset, and become fully present. When we apply this concept of mindful friction to our wallets, everything changes. We stop trying to fight our late-night spending impulses with sheer willpower. Instead, we design an environment where our money slows down just enough for us to make a conscious choice. We stop reacting, and we start directing. The first habit is rooted in the concept of gaman, which translates to enduring the seemingly unbearable with patience and dignity. In personal finance, gaman is not about suffering. It is the profound ability to sit with a short-term urge without immediately acting on it. Today, the modern money problem is the total elimination of waiting. With features like one-click purchasing, we buy things at the exact moment our emotions peak. The visible cost is the $40 spent on an impulse buy late at night. But the hidden cost is much heavier. You are systematically draining the capital that could be compounding into your future freedom. The psychological trap is the justification. I work hard, so I deserve a little treat right now. But a true reward should not create financial anxiety the next morning. The system fix is the 48-hour cart rule. When you feel the urge to spend, add the item to your cart, close the app, and wait 2 full days. You are not telling yourself no, you are simply saying, not right now. Quiet wealth is built in the spaces between wanting and buying. Moving to the second habit, we look at capping the lifestyle upgrade. In Okinawa, there is a cultural practice called hara-hachi-bu, meaning eating until you are 80% full. It is a philosophy of stopping just before excess. When applied to your finances, it is the ultimate cure for the urge to constantly upgrade your life. The modern trap is lifestyle inflation. We are taught to believe that as our income grows, our standard of living must grow at the exact same pace. The visible cost is the new car payment or phone contract, but the real cost is time. You end up having to work years longer just to fund that final 20% of excess that does not actually increase your baseline happiness. The psychological trap is the assumption that more automatically equals better. The practical fix is to cap your lifestyle. Define what your 80% full looks like, the point where your needs are met and you are comfortable. The next time you get a raise or pay off a debt, do not increase your spending. Instead, automate all of that extra money directly into an investment or savings account. Enough is not failure. Enough is the exact place where freedom begins. This brings us to the third habit, which is about closing the convenience leaks. It is incredibly easy to lose money today without ever buying a physical product. This brings us to matanai, a deep sense of regret over wasting resources. Today, the greatest matanai in our lives is the waste of our own capital on unthinking convenience. The modern money problem is our subscription culture. We sign up for app trials we forget to cancel, and we order food delivery simply to avoid washing a pan. The visible cost is the $15 a month here or the $20 delivery fee there, but the real cost is a slow, invisible bleed. Your wealth is draining away through 1,000 tiny cuts. The psychological trap is telling yourself, it is just a few dollars. But these thoughtless transactions steal the funding directly from your biggest life goals. The system fix is a ruthless monthly audit combined with 1-0, spend weekend every month, cancel every recurring charge that does not actively improve your daily life. Respecting your money means respecting the time it took you to earn it. To truly respect our money, we must embrace the fourth habit, making money physical again. Modern money is almost entirely abstract. We do not hand over paper bills anymore. We tap a plastic card or hover a phone over a screen. Because the transaction is invisible, the natural friction and the pain of paying have completely disappeared. This is where Kakeibo, the Japanese art of mindful manual tracking, steps in. Kakeibo is powerful because it forces attention. The visible cost of abstract digital money is consistently overspending your monthly limits. The hidden cost is the chronic financial anxiety humming in the background of your life because you never truly know where you stand. The psychological trap is avoidance. We convince ourselves that if we do not open the banking app, the credit card bill does not truly exist. The practical system fix is to take your variable expenses, like groceries and dining out, and write them down by hand once a week. This physical friction reconnects your brain to the reality of what is leaving your life. Awareness does not make you poorer. It gives your money a place to go. But what happens when we spend not out of a lack of awareness, but out of sheer exhaustion? Our fifth habit offers a different prescription. Swapping retail therapy for real therapy. When a stressful day ends, our first instinct is often to spend. Traditional Japanese culture leans on shinrin, yoku, or forest bathing. It is the practice of finding physical and mental restoration simply by being in nature, completely free of charge. The modern problem is that we have replaced true restoration with retail therapy. We use credit cards to soothe our nervous systems. The visible cost is the $100 dropped on weekend treats because you had a bad week. But the hidden cost is that the root cause of your stress remains untouched, while your home slowly fills with clutter that causes even more anxiety. The psychological trap is believing that buying something new will automatically transform you into a calmer version of yourself. The system fix is creating a free dopamine menu. Write down 5 things that genuinely relax you. Taking a walk, reading, or brewing a proper cup of tea. Commit to doing just one of these before you check out an online shopping cart. Sometimes the most powerful financial decision is simply needing less from the wrong things. This shift in perspective naturally leads us to the 6th habit, breaking the replacement cycle. Kintsugi is the beautiful Japanese art of repairing broken pottery with gold. Instead of throwing the broken bowl away, the cracks are illuminated, making the object more unique and valuable. Today, we live in a relentless throwaway culture. The modern money problem is the immediate urge to replace rather than repair. The visible cost is constantly buying new clothes or electronics at the first sign of wear, but the hidden cost is trapping yourself in an endless cycle of replacing your life, leaving nothing left over to build your future. The psychological trap is the illusion of perfection. We are conditioned to think a slightly worn item is worthless, and that buying new is the only acceptable option. The system fix is the 7-day try to fix. It rule before you replace anything. Give yourself 1 week to see if it can be mended or repurposed. True value lies in longevity, not novelty. When you stop chasing the new, your money finally has the time to grow. One of the most dangerous triggers for spending is what we see others having. The 7th habit helps us step off this treadmill. The Japanese idiom ubatori means that every flower blooms in its own time, and comparing them is entirely pointless. The modern money problem is the constant pressure to keep up. Social media feeds us a non-stop highlight reel of lifestyle upgrades. The visible cost is the expensive dinner you put on a credit card just to feel like you are not falling behind, but the hidden cost is devastating. You are sacrificing your own long-term financial security to buy the temporary validation of people you barely know. The psychological trap is confusing the performance of wealth with actual security. Looking rich is very expensive. Being wealthy is often entirely silent. The system fix is a digital environment detox. Unfollow any account that triggers a feeling of lack. Define your own version of a rich life, one that does not require an audience. Money becomes lighter when it is no longer trying to prove your worth. This brings us to our final and perhaps most important 8th habit, the honest financial reset. In Japanese culture, Hansei means deep, honest self-reflection done without extreme guilt or self-punishment. It is acknowledging a mistake simply to learn how to fix it. The modern problem is that when we overspend, we feel intense shame, so we avoid looking at our accounts. The visible cost of this avoidance is late fees and compounding credit card interest. But the real cost is the paralyzing psychological weight keeping you trapped in the same cycle. The psychological trap is believing that because you made a financial mistake yesterday, your financial future is already ruined. The system fix is a monthly money date. Once a month, sit down with a cup of tea and look at your spending. If you blew your budget, do not shame yourself. Apply Hansei, acknowledge the leak, figure out what triggered the urge, and make a plan to do it better next month. Quiet wealth often begins when money stops being a performance and becomes a direction. Now, whenever we talk about introducing friction, capping lifestyles, or tracking expenses by hand, the immediate fear is that we are choosing a life of restriction. It is easy to assume these habits are just another way to force yourself into extreme frugality, where you are not allowed to enjoy the money you work so hard to earn. But that is completely missing the point. This is not about punishing yourself for wanting nice things. It is about using an entirely different lens to look at your financial life. It is about eliminating the unconscious automated spending that silently drains your wealth, so you actually have the resources to fund the things that bring you genuine joy. It is simply about giving your money a purposeful direction. To turn these concepts into reality, you need an action blueprint. First, pull up your bank statement from the last 30 days. Do not try to build a complex spreadsheet. Instead, just look for the leaks. Look for the subscriptions you forgot about and the recurring convenience fees. Apply the concept of Motenai. Second, choose just one single leak to close today. Cancel that one unused app or commit to picking up your own takeout this weekend. Third, do not let that saved money just float around in your checking account. Take the exact amount you just rescued and set up an automatic recurring transfer to move it into your emergency fund or investment account. Finally, practice Gaman this week. The next time you feel the urge to buy something non-essential, put it in the cart, close the app, and walk away for 48 hours. Notice how the urge to spend slowly loses its grip on you. Curing the urge to spend is not about knuckling your way through a shopping mall. It is about redesigning your environment so that your money slows down. Whether it is adding the intentional friction of gaman, capping your lifestyle upgrades with harahachi-bu, or doing an honest monthly reset through hansei, these habits teach us a powerful lesson. Quiet wealth is not built solely by how much you earn, but by how intentionally you direct what you keep. The goal is not to stop spending entirely. The goal is to stop spending accidentally. If this video helped you see your money differently, subscribe to the channel for more quiet wealth and Japanese money habit videos. This video is for educational purposes only and is not personal financial advice. Financial rules, taxes, pensions, and investment products vary by country. Always consider your own situation and speak with a qualified professional when needed.